Hey YouTube, this is the Art of Prepping. We're going to look at this Sterno emergency candle. It says it's an all-purpose portable unscented candle that lasts up to 55 hours. It's 2.8 inches wide, 6 inches tall, and as you can see, it probably weighs maybe between 10 to 11 ounces, I would say, and 55 hours of usable light. It's made out of paraffin. It has this cotton wick that goes down, and these you can find these types of items at Walmart's camping section for around $6 or so. At least that's what it was a few years ago. So this is an item I would recommend to put a nice candle base or a holder for this. Especially if you have animals or kids in your home, you want to make sure that this is going to be a safe option to light an area. Candles don't typically have a bright output, so having a reflector or a mirror reflector behind this would enhance the light output. And there's also trays that you could put above the flame for warming up food and for light cooking if you really had to. But overall, this is just going to give you some ambient light, another option in an emergency if you don't have any kind of power supply, no batteries, and no electricity. Another option to the Sterno paraffin candle is, and I believe this was a Sterno brand. I tore the packaging off about a year ago, just checking the item, checking it out. But this uses some type of cotton wick, I believe, and it has this oil reserve. And you just pop that white little cap off in there, and you have the wick, access to the wick. It has this globe, which is removable, and basically this gives you ambient lighting as well. Just a different type of candle, if you will, and or maybe you can even call this a type of lantern. I'm not for sure, but either way, it gives you light and a little bit of heat. And this one is rated for 110 hours, so that's quite good actually. If you just used it, let's just say 2 hours a night, you have about 55 days worth of light. If you wanted to even go just to say 30 minutes, if you ration it just to 30 minutes, 220 days worth of light, if you could just, be that efficient with it. So these, you don't really even have to have that many of these. This might be just a little safer, though, in the home, especially if you have dogs and cats that run around and, kids crawling around. But, there's just so many different kinds of options. I personally like the Aladdin oil lanterns. Those are really nice, have a nice antique look. If you can find those. Sometimes, those Coleman outdoor lanterns are good, but whenever you start getting into those kind of, propane style or any of those butane types of lanterns, you have to worry about ventilation and any type of issues with the fumes. And so in the middle of the night of the winter, you don't want to have your windows open just because you need to breathe. You might want to go with something that's a little bit more, less hazardous. And even with these, you'd probably still want to have a little fresh air coming through the room. But I think these would be a lot less hazardous, though, than, using some type of cooking stove as a lighting source or a light source or a heavier burning type of outdoor camp lantern. So these are just some ideas. Ultimately, though, if you can, get an LED lantern, battery-powered lantern, or even a rechargeable solar-paneled or solar-powered type of lantern, even something that has a crank power on it to recharge a battery. Those are going to be probably your first choice, just not because it's the safest, but they probably give you a lot more output, light output in general than candles, obviously, even with good reflectors and these types of oil-based candles. So ultimately, the new technology is worthwhile. LEDs are going to probably be the most efficient and just give you the best bang for the buck. And they're also reusable, especially if you have a way to replenish the supply of your power. And so these are just some things to think about and to ponder over about how many different choices of lighting do you need or want, and which one should you pick over another. I'm really fond of the headlamp, a good LED headlamp that has many hours of use on just a few cells. And then I'd probably go with a good flashlight, a good lantern, all of LED quality, and have maybe one or two means to recharge those rechargeable batteries in those devices. And as a backup, maybe you have a hand crank lantern. And then even as a tertiary means, then maybe you go into these two types of sources of candles and oil-based lights. And if you even want to go to a fourth level, you can start looking at maybe glow sticks and things, depending on how safe that needs to be. You know, if a glow stick is very safe, very non-toxic, and so glow sticks, you know, you don't want to, have a whole bunch because they only last 4 to 5 years and they start to break down. But glow sticks could be a fourth means, and if you need more means than that, then you may want to actually do more research. There's definitely things out there that can last a long time and give you a lot of emergency usage. But those top four would be the ones I would start with, and some of those can be integrated into a pack. Even the LED lanterns can come in various packages. Some of them are keychain size, and some of them are full size. So you have to know what you're looking for and be specific in that search. Otherwise, it gets all jumbled up in terms of what you think you need to purchase and what's out there. So always kind of have clarity on what you need and what you think you would want in a price range before you go searching for these things, because they can sneak up on you, and before you know it, you might have $300-400 in lighting options that it's going to be overkill, especially if you don't have some of your other preps that we've talked about in the past. So lighting options are important, and just remember though of which ones are going to be best suited for your home. Candles maybe not so much if you have kids and pets. Thanks again for watching, and we'll talk to you real soon. Take care.